territory. They probably don't know about our EDS work, services that we have. We respond to first responders. We try to keep them fed and taken care of.
Yeah, that's a big
one. Pause real quick. Sorry about that. I actually didn't press record, so now we're recording. So I want to go back. This is just, we were supposed to go live, and it just seemed like the recording stopped and everything. And so now,
she's been trying to get to me.
He has somebody he has to go help. Somebody who wants to give him a check or something.
Okay. Oh, no worries. Definitely want to go take care of that. Well, I'm Pastor Brian Hawkins here, the Divine Appointment in San Jacinto, Divine Appointment Worship Center in the city of San Jacinto. I'm sitting here with two gentlemen. One just kind of went outside to go take care of some business with the Salvation Army. You guys know Lieutenant James, but I also have the Major here. Can you state your name one more time again, Major?
I'm Major Richard Larson. I'm with the Adult Rehab Center here in Paris, California.
Absolutely, with the Adult Rehab Center. Awesome. So I had just asked you a question. About some of the things that people don't know that the Salvation Army is doing. You just really just gave me the first answer right there. You guys have a senior community center called Silvercrest.
Yeah, we have senior low-income housing. It's called Silvercrest, and we have about 15 to 20 of them across the Western United States that we take care of seniors.
Oh, wow. And that's awesome. And that's the thing about it. People don't understand that, that red bucket that we usually see around the holidays, it goes, more than just some of the local events that we have around here. There's a lot of things that's covered underneath that. And so even with the gosh, what do you call those, the buildings around the community where you guys take in the donation? What do you call that? My brain.
Our family thrift stores?
Yeah, the family thrift store. My brain I drew a blank right there. I'm still a little bit bothered that we wasn't able to go live, but this is going to be seen by so many people because we're going to do the watch party and everything. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to have this broadcast, because what Lieutenant James does in the community, very active. We're both members of the Hemet Sunset Rotary Club. You're the current pastor over at the Hemet. Huh?
Yeah, I'm the pastor over at the Hemet Corps. We go by Corps. We have military terms. We're quasi-military. So okay. I'm Lieutenant James. This is Major Richard. And I run and administer the Hemet Corps on Palm and Acacia.
Okay, so Palm and Acacia. So in the city of Hemet.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. So one of the reasons why I wanted to have this broadcast with you, one, because of, what the Salvation Army represent, and two, I came across a news article the other day about the thrift stores, and that they've been closed. Why is that so important for people to understand, the need to having the thrift store being open, and how much does that affect what the Salvation Army is able to do?
Well, I'll address it. We have 5 thrift stores in the county of Riverside, and all 5 stores have been closed down. And what we do with that money is we take men. We have 125 beds for men, and we have a drug rehab that lasts 6 months. And all the money that comes from the thrift stores pays for that drug rehab. And so we're recycling people's goods to recycling people's lives, and just being a good steward of that. And now we still have 90 men in the program. We're not taking anybody new in the program until this crisis is over. But we still have the bills. We still have to feed them. We still have to, lights are on, taking care of them. And they have classes. They have their work therapy that they do. But we're kind of hurting strapped for cash right now. So we're just trying to be good stewards of what we're doing. We're turning off the lights. We had to lay off some people just to get us through this time.
Wow. So people don't realize that, while we're watching these, COVID challenges and everything like that, I mean, there's some real serious needs that is going on out there. And because of the bulk of what you guys do is relied upon these thrift stores, you're not able to meet that need. So given the fact that you guys are not taking any new people, how much is it affecting the current residents that you guys have there? You guys can be, is there like a cutoff date to where, we don't know when the the country's going to open back up, what are you guys contingent plan with the individuals that are in this rehab program?
Our contingent plan that it opens up by May 31st. That's what we're really hoping for. That's what we're shooting, that it opens up before then, because I think our stores could be necessary because people don't have a lot of money. And so people, if we could open our stores and put our employees back to work, people would go to the thrift stores and they would buy the garments and buy the clothes, secondhand items. And then that would help us, because we don't hide who we are in our program. We tell them that we are the church of we're the church. We're doing this in the name of Jesus Christ. And we don't want to hide that. We don't take no government funding. It's all done by donations. That way we can tell them it's a 12-step program. We can tell them that the higher power is God, and it's Jesus that's going to help them through this time. And then we take this program we have, and it's a work therapy program. And the guys go to work for 8 hours. If they work in the warehouse, they learn how to work sober. They learn how to work with other men around them in a situation where they have to deal with their defects. And then we help them through those defects. Maybe they have an anger problem or a resentment problem, or they just don't know how to talk correctly or even work.
Yeah. Put in a whole 8 hours. No, it's hard.
Yeah. So all those things add up to what we call sobriety in real life.
Wow. And so, what is the reason why you guys are closed? I mean, is it considered that the thrift store is not essential, but the outcome of what you guys are doing is just as equivalent of, the hospital? I mean, you're dealing with individuals that are sick with a disease of an addiction. So if I were to articulate that, to me, it looks almost in the same lines as being essential, especially since this is where the funding comes from to make it necessary that you guys are able to do. So is there a particular reason why you guys are not open?
The government doesn't see our thrift stores as essential for life in itself and as keeping it going. But as far as our men are concerned, and as far as the men and women in our other programs, we have men and women programs in San Diego and Anaheim and San Diego, Pasadena. And all those are done by thrift stores. All those thrift stores that we run help those locations, and it's men and women, and they're in crisis, and we're still taking care of them. And so that's why we're trying to get the word out there. If people can't, give us your donations, and we'll take them in right now, but we can't sell them. But if you give us a cash donation or monetary donations, we can take that right now and put it toward helping these men.
Absolutely. And so if somebody wanted to give a donation to you guys, a cash donation, what are one of the ways? I mean, I know that just a minute ago, Lieutenant James, you were able to go outside and I don't know if you got a cash donation or not, but if somebody wanted to give a donation, what would be a way in which they can donate to?
Well, if they went online, they can go salarmy.us/Riverside ARC, and they can donate, and that would come right to our drug rehab center. Or they can go online to the Salvation Army USA.org, and they could donate to whatever Salvation Army they wanted, and it would go according to their zip code.
Okay, say that one more time again. Spell that again.
Sal Army, SALARMY.US/Riverside ARC.
We just opened up a text to give.
Okay, so if I'm on it, it just says help most affected by the COVID-19.
Yep.
Yes.
That's right there. Okay. And then so you have options on here, and it says you can donate now. So
Right.
if somebody wanted to go on there and donate, they could go right there to let's see, make your gift go further. All right. So right here, help those impacted by COVID-19. So this is something that we were just talking about a few minutes ago, correct?
Yes.
The impact of the coronavirus. And so you said if somebody donated to you right now, it would go directly to the Riverside location?
At that location, yes.
Through that online portal, yes, it'll go to that location. Right. if they were to open up some other Salvation Army website, it goes based off zip code. So that one he just shared with you, Sal Army / Riverside, ARC, goes straight to his center.
Okay. So the one
If someone does it a little bit less specific, it'll go by zip code.
All right. So definitely want to do that. So here's my thing, because I noticed that when I was out in the community, I've been driving around and I've been seeing some of the Salvation Army having donations left out in front. Are you encouraging people to do that? Is that okay?
No.
No, we don't want that, because what happens is it creates a mess, because other people start going through the donations. And so we have hours, 9:30 to 5:30 for our donation sites. And some donation sites, because we're not selling anything in the stores right now, are closed down. So we had to make decisions. One in Riverside on Magnolia Street, that location, that thrift store, the donation site is closed down at this time. The one here in Hemet at the on Florida Street, that's closed down. And so people are still dropping off their donations, and the people are going through it. We go out there once a day to pick up those donations, but we really would rather them take it to a site that's open.
Okay, and did you give the site that's open?
There's one in Sun City. There's one in Paris at the main center there. That's 24201 Orange Avenue, and that's open 7 days a week, 9:30 to 5:30 every day. The one in Temecula, the thrift store there, it's open, and the Corona site on 6th Street is open.
Okay, so sorry about that. I'm over here typing.
Multitasking, that's perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So there are sites taking donations, and we encourage people not to just leave them at the side of the right there at the thrift store down the street on Florida. Just not to just leave them there.
All right. So before we even go any further, I want to challenge individuals to meet this need, because I really think it's big that we take our part in it. So I just started my rally off. I just donated $100.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just donated $100. It just went through. Matter of fact, my thing. So that's what I was doing. I wanted to go through the process myself, because I think it's so important that we reach out and that we be a help to one another. And I think it's so important that we learn how to support and encourage one another. So,
well, one of the biggest things I'm getting, Brian, is people asking me, what are we doing for the homeless? And many of those men that are in the program right now were homeless or without a home, okay? So to be taking care of them is exactly what the community's been asking us to do. So it's we'd hate to not be able to do that. And, we'd be back where we started. So we are doing what the community's asked us to do the best possible way, so.
And the program is a 6-month program, but the guys who graduate, we're letting them stay there until this whole crisis is over.
Wow.
That way they can't probably find work right now. And so we're just letting them stay there, we're taking care of them for that purpose. We don't want to we want to help them, not put them back in the same situation they were in.
Absolutely. And so if somebody wanted to, I know right now you guys aren't doing any intake, but what is the process for somebody to get in one of the programs?
Well, we both could talk about it, but basically you have to be physically able to work 8 hours. You have to be willing to come into the program. You have to pass a drug test. So you have to be clean within 72 hours of taking drugs or alcohol when you come to the program. You can't be on psych meds necessarily. There's certain medication that we can't take because we're not a clinical drug rehab, but most people who, if they can work, they're healthy and they want to make a difference in their life, and they can have an addiction to cocaine, gambling, pornography, marijuana, several different things that they can have, and we'll help them with all those.
And that's good. I was just last week I was dealing with one of the recovery centers that we have here in the Valley, the Hemet Valley Recovery Center, And I think it's so critical, it's so crucial that people understand how much, the process of recovery, you don't get too much of a second chance when there's a break in the process. It's literally, a gamble that somebody missed one of their meetings or missed, the support group or any of those things. I don't think individuals understand the significance of that. And so, to hear that you guys needing the help is so important. You said May 31st is the cutoff date. I know that that's supposed to be like the date to where,
It's a tentative hope.
Yeah.
To be able to take people in again by then.
And I hope that the community opens up before then. Because truthfully, we have 90 guys right now in the program, because we have men who graduated and men who moved on. And now we have like 30 spots that are open in the program. And so we want to help guys and we want to bring them in, but we want to be good stewards of keeping care of the men that we have already. So we got to make sure nobody has the virus, because we've been locked down for 3 weeks. No, actually 4 weeks now.
Yeah.
And we just want to keep it safe and make the men feel safe too, because they can't go anywhere, and we want to keep them as safe as possible.
Right.
If they would open it up, and there's some tests out there that we just need to get, that way we can test the guys before they came in, make sure they didn't have the virus, and we'd be great. I think there's some tests out there that we can find out within 24 hours if they have the virus or not.
So, and that's the point I want to ask too, because you have those individuals. I know in the last 48 hours there have been a lot of protesting, and to me, I look at it as a horrible and a great idea at the same time. The reason why I say that is because, hey, if all those people go out and protest and their numbers don't spike, then somewhere it's looking pretty good. But if we get a huge spike in COVID-19 cases in the next week, then yeah, we might be locked down until, I hate to say that part, but
yeah.
at the same time, you have individuals that are looking at it, the aspects of, okay, safety over, health and all these different things. How do you address those who are concerned with, okay, hey, they don't have vaccine for it, they don't have, a solution for it, but yet and still I understand the Salvation Army is hurting, the nonprofit, the mind of people who, when it comes to nonprofit, so, help people understand why you feel like, it's an important need to have it open.
Well, we think it's important to have it open so people can continue to get treatment, and that's huge. Like you said, drug and alcohol treatment, and from other addictions. And obviously the thrift stores closed down, and that's caused jobs. We're all part of this together, and it's causing a lot of different things you wouldn't expect,
We've had hundreds of calls in the last few weeks of people wanting to get into the program.
Yeah.
And so there's this great need for people wanting to get in the program. I think people being isolated, people being shut in their houses, there's some other issues that are mental health that are coming up. People talking about suicide and other things. And so we need to open up as soon as possible. That way we can get some of the people who really need our help in there. And I think one of the ways would be finding a test that we can give to the men coming into the program, and having work for them to do by having the thrift stores open, and the process of taking those donation items and put them in the store to support their program.
It's amazing that you said that too. And that was one of my thoughts about the psychological effects of this shelter at home. I recently read an article about a young girl, teenager, who took her life because she got tired of being, stuck inside the home, and felt like, for kids who have been living this social media free, kind of rebellious life, this is a tough adjustment. And I wonder if the safe at home, shelter at home is more detrimental to society than the virus itself. Whereas we're worried about the flu, And you know, hey, I'm not a clinical therapist. You know, I just look at reality of everything, and from the aspects of it, I just feel like, you know, the mental aspect of it. If I'm mentally ready to quit life, I'm ready to give up, you know, I mean, the virus is the last of my concern. You know, that's the last of my worries, from that perspective, from that outset. But it's good that you guys are addressing the fact of, you know, individuals who are calling, because there's some people out there whose life is really on the line, and they don't have the virus. They don't have the virus, and they're just as much in a death situation, a life or death situation, as anybody that could catch it by not having a mask on or being social distance. And I think that that's so important.
Yeah, we have a hotline actually. Our divisional headquarters in Los Angeles for the Southern California, all of Southern California, San Diego, and Inland Empire and stuff. We have a hotline for seniors to call if they just want to talk, you know? And I think that's pretty cool. It's a good resource to have. I'll go ahead and shoot that in the comments when I watch it later. I'll put the number for seniors to call if they want to have a conversation with somebody, if they're feeling isolated.
Yeah, please do. I think that that's so important for individuals to know that they have an outlet. And that's the thing about it. Like I said, people just, and I'm one, you know, so I guess I can speak for the multitude of individuals, you know. I'm sorry, I just watched my son just run across the other office with the laptop cord wrapped around his leg and just pulled everything off the desk. So, so I literally just like the scene of just seeing the laptop just trip him up on the way out the door.
Great.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, but it's good because a lot of people just think the kettlebell, Christmas time, the kettlebell, but
okay.
You're a nonprofit, no government funding, so the money from the thrift store and the kettlebell, this for the senior,
It's huge.
Yeah, right, because it, you know, drug rehab, senior care facility. What else?
So right now on Palm and Acacia and Hemet, we are serving food to clients, to people that come in through here 4 days a week. We're closed on Thursday, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon, first come, first serve. People can come in here and get a box of food. And actually, we've been blessed by some donations from lots of different places that have been giving us and supplying us with that food. One of them is Walmart. One of them is Cisco. One of them is just some places out of LA actually getting us food. So we've been able to provide. I think on Friday we provided 585 people with food. That totaled about 140 households. So last week, about 300 households were given food out of this place right here, and I think that, you know, the Salvation Army is here to meet any need that comes up. You know, that's like our mission statement, to meet human need, and in Christ's name. So it's kind of a beautiful thing. There's a rehab, there's a senior center, there's food coming out of this back door, there's clothes, cheaper clothes for people. Like whatever we can do to kind of meet people's need is our priority. It's our goal. It's really, and that need changes all the time. So we try to meet whatever need comes up. Like it could be a new need. Somebody, you might tell me tomorrow I've been delivering senior food boxes. I've never done that since I've been here. But the past 4 weeks, I now deliver food to seniors in my truck, drive around town, because it's a need, you know?
And that's good too. I had somebody that reached out and say you guys also give pulpits to churches.
We give what? I gave you a pulpit, man. You know, we have our summer camp program. They decided not to do it this year because of the COVID crisis. Just the ramifications of it. 400 kids running around a camp, you know? Well, I was gonna send 10 of your kids from your church to the camp, scholarship them, you know, to be able to go to the camp. I talked to one of your youth workers when I came to visit at your open house, and I said, I'm sending 10 of you guys there to camp this year.
All right.
Now that, you know, sadly isn't happening, but when it does again, those are the kind of things we do. Summer camp for kids, you know.
and you know, and that's the thing about it. You know, you know, nonprofits. I mean, I don't know how much Salvation Army takes a backlash. You know, I can speak from the church, but you know, people just assume that, you know, collective bells, people are living lavish life, but they don't understand the service that goes along with it. You know, the stuff that happens with it, the things that you guys are doing. I mean, many people right now aren't realizing how many. I mean, what has been the increase in families since the coronavirus, as far as the donation and food has been going?
Well, like he said, even though they're not taking intakes, which they did to the very last bit, till they could only take to keep the guys safe. It was like, we better stop because we got to be safe. So he's got hundreds of calls now because people are in crisis mode and they want to get help. I received, basically, I served about 100 families a week out of here. That would be a standard week. And now I've gone, I think I did like 300 or 400 last week. Yeah, and I'm getting more food in. And now that people saw us on Facebook last week, we're getting more clients in. So I'd say we're going to start serving like up to 400 families a week out of here, which is 100 a day. That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
No, I can imagine that. You know, prior to this, me, Captain Brock, and a few others of the American Legion, I want to say Post 53, don't quote me on that, but I know it's one of the American Legion. And him, and we were preparing to do a fishing trip. And I remember we said that like last year they did it, and it was something like 200 kids without any advertising. So, well, if it was 200 kids without any advertising, imagine this year we're out advertising, you know, so you're looking at about 1,000 kids. And so unfortunately it was canceled. We're still working on moving it. I think the latest date we said right now is in October. But even like right now, and I was just talking with one of the women at my church, and we were talking about coming up with some strategy for the seniors. I'm not a reinventor of the wheel. I don't try to do what somebody else is doing. I'd rather come over there and partner up and, you know, and help out in that area, because it just makes it a lot easier for me, you know, to stay one in my lane and then to be more of a help. I love to serve alongside other people. That's one of my parts I love doing and everything. And so,
well, I think, you know, just in the advertising, just since the past 2 weeks, people saw us helping so many people. That's important, and that's huge. And there's 80,000 people in San Jacinto and Hemet, and if like $1 a month, you know, and the ones that could afford it, that's $50,000 that's going to go back right to those people that need it. You know, if everybody in Riverside County that supports their rehab gave $1 a month, you know, $1 a month, I just start thinking like, man, that's a lot of money, and it's very little out of their pocket, you know, but collectively that would be amazing to help them. $10, $100, you know, just to kind of consistently find a way to go. I want to help the Salvation Army help people. I've had a lot of calls just since Friday because of all the media that have told me, how can I help, you know? And not everybody wants to give money. Well, they've dropped off canned goods, you know? When the thrift stores open back up, donate to the Salvation Army, you know? Things like that.
And that's what, you know, I really don't know how to do it. We can defeat it. Are you going to defeat that?
I can. It's hard to hear you as much as it was good to hear you before. Now it's a little hard to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened. I feel like
your son took the mic with the laptop and fell down.
I don't know what the interference was. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this rally off, you know, to really encourage individuals to give. One of the things I've been trying to do is encourage and instill hope in the Valley. Hey, shouts out to Pastor Dale Garland. I just used your church name. He just switched his name from Hemet Valley Baptist to Hope in the Valley. So, hey, perfect time to switch your church name. You know,
I know Pastor Dale. He's a good guy, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I tell him I'm gonna put together a baseball team so I can go there and play on that field over there. And so, you know, and those are the things that I really see the shifting happen. You know, being a body of believers, being a body of Christ, You know, we don't see the church really functioning and working together as though it should be and as it should happen.
Yeah, it can be challenging.
We're too busy. Say it again.
It can be challenging, you know, like you can end up on your own silo in your own ship, and it can be hard, but but we need to do it. You know?
Yeah, we do. And so I've been challenging every pastor, every president. You know, I know that different organizations, different religious beliefs, you know, have different names for what they call the shepherd over the flock, or the watchman on the wall. But, you know, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and, you know,
Amen.
in this day and age, we really need to learn how to, you know, I call it Form Voltron. We all old enough to remember.
Yeah.
We're all old enough to remember Voltron on this broadcast, and, you know.
Well, you know, something kind of cool. I love what you're saying, and it's true. And something kind of cool is like the Army. We have like our leg, right? The Voltron leg, like you were describing. And there's a mega church in Orange County that supports the Salvation Army rehab in Orange County. Like any guy that gets out of there that needs to have rent for his first month, they take care of it. Any kind of clothes or needs for his family, they take care of it. They sponsor like guys that come out of there. That's a thought that, you know, in working together, how can like a church that can afford it be a social service instead of doing their own social service? Hey, why don't we support the Salvation Army social service? Because that's like who we are, you know? And that's like just a thought out there I want to throw out there to somebody, like, hey, why don't we start sponsoring guys to get out when they get out of the program, or while they're in the program, sponsoring that program, or sponsoring the church here, the Salvation Army social service office in Hemet, like, or Marietta. Like, how do they help without, you know, having to do all the work? Like, they got their own church, they got things going on there, they got youth programs, but how can I help the Salvation Army meet human need? You know, like we're on the front lines already doing it. You don't got to reinvent the wheel. How do I help them do it? You know, can we give our canned goods to them? Can we give our, you know, clothing to them? It just seems like a good way to work together. Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. And here's the problem in the solution with it. All right, because I can throw out the problem why that's such a difficult thing is because the credit. You know who gets the credit. Yeah. and that's the problem. Now, see, there goes the solution. That's the solution that I wanted to bring into it, because if you're doing it to get the credit, then you're already going against what the Bible has said, because he already said, I'm not going to share my glory with no one. So
right.
That's right. It's boasting about him.
Yeah. You don't get no credit for what belongs to him. And so if you are really, and that's where my challenge comes at to every church out there, if you're really about our Father's business, if you're really about doing the kingdom work, then as Lieutenant James said, hey, you know, there's things that you don't have to do in your church that another organization is doing. You know, you don't have to open up a rehab. I know if I go into a lot of churches, they all have this vision of opening up a drug rehab. You know, we don't need 150 rehab. We need a really good one. You know,
I'll be truthful with you. We do have a really good rehab, and we preach Jesus Christ, and we teach them a lot about their defects and how they become understanding that they need to surrender to the Lord Jesus Christ. But in that, I'll bet you I get 50 to 100 guys every year right out of Hemet going into our drug rehab.
Yeah.
And so we're affecting your city in a mighty way that nobody even knows. That thrift store right there on Florida Street, 1400 Florida Street, is making a difference in your city, and people don't even know that's what's going on there. All that money that's raised goes right back to benefit those men.
Well, you know what, and that's good that you mentioned that. And here's a suggestion, because I wanna sit down and we can get together, Lieutenant, and come up with a real good solution and working that together. But I wanna offer a suggestion too, because like you said, how many people know that?
Exactly.
So I think that would be something good on the side of the building, or, you know, a sign to just say, hey, you know, because this thrift store is here, 100 addicts are in rehab. You know, something that would give people an understanding, like, hey, every couch you drop off, we're able to sell it. You know what I mean? We're able, you know, it reminded me when I did the blood donation with live stream sometime.
Right.
I think I've done like 3 of them in the last, you know, maybe year and a half, something like that. But it made me think of Jesus that much more when, you know, you can call and they can tell you how many people are lives. You know, they'll say, hey, the blood you donated is saved like 3 adults and 2 children. He's like, man, I just gave a little bit of blood and I just saved like 5 people's lives. And so
Right.
in my mind, I was thinking like Jesus, like, man, he gave every drop and he saved all of humanity. You know, I think that because we live in a society where, you know, we have that Missouri, that St. Louis mentality. Show me, you know, let me see what you guys are doing, so I can understand why you guys are doing it, and why
Right.
I'm about to really invest in. Because, you know,
Well, if anybody ever wants to, they can ask me. I'll take them over there after the COVID crisis. You know, when things kind of open back up, I can arrange a tour over there, and they can see, especially leaders in the community. I can get them to see what they do over there. It's a beautiful facility. They have a little lake. They have, the guys are treated with tremendous amount of love and respect and care. And yeah, I'd love to show them, and just kind of how the operation works and what those donations do for our community is amazing. So
yeah, and I don't think it's so much of people wanting to, you know,
see it.
down that people just didn't know. Like I just found out, you know, what the thrift store represent, what the thrift store do. And
Yeah.
so that's such a huge thing for me to come to find out. So I just think that that's just big. So it's like, you know, and
And the funny thing is, just so people know, he runs, well, his facility runs the one over here, the thrift stores. Okay, I don't run the thrift store. I'm just in Hammond. I run the social service office out here, the family service office. So people call me and go, hey, what's wrong? You know, what's going on at the thrift store? Can I go? You know, can I get something from there? You know, like it's not my place. It's his. It's 2 different places. You know, it's a little confusing, but that's a good time.
It's all one Salvation Army, but there is a divide.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, look, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for giving your time today. I definitely want to put that link on there. So if you could text me over the link so we can put this in the comments below. I do want to let you guys have the final thoughts and comments. You know, if you come into our church on the front row, there are 2 chairs that I sit in. One I sit in, and then one my wife would sit in. I bought those from you guys' thrift store.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
So yeah. They are really nice. As a matter of fact, typically when I'm doing my live broadcast right now, I'm in my office, but typically in my live broadcast, I will be sitting in one of those chairs, and they are so comfortable. I really appreciate whoever donated.
We probably didn't charge you enough for them.
No, actually, no, they didn't. Listen. I'm not even gonna tell you, but yes. For what I paid for those 2 chairs, like I think one of them, I don't know. I definitely.
It was free. I won't give them free.
Buy one at half off and get the other one for free.
It's amazing, man.
And they've been a tremendous blessing for me, and I love it. So I support the thrift store. I go over there and shop a lot. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't know my story. When I moved to Emmett, I was homeless. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, I was homeless. Yeah, I got a tremendous story. I lived in you know. I got a huge story. Don't let my smile fool you. My whole 20s, I spent a lot of time behind bars.
Yeah.
So you know, I was a drug.
Me too, man.
I was out there in the streets. I would have never known that. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, no, man.
A product of the rehab.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I look at it and I say, you know, many of the suits I bought were from that thrift store over there on Florida Avenue. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, that's how I end up, you know, getting connected with so many people, you know, from going over there and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I do. And, you know, I love going over there. Matter of fact, I was talking to the guy that was trying to open up that gym that was supposed to open up right before that. I was like, it's going to be a great opportunity, but I'm grateful for what you guys do. I pray that people go in there. I started off the seed, so I challenge every pastor, you know what I mean? Let's run this marathon and let's help out the Salvation Army, because they have been there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I know your reach is big, man. I know you're over being heard in Marietta, which is a big community. I know you're, you know, Hemet, San Jacinto. I know your reach is pretty big, and the 102.5 The Vine, they support us too in a lot of ways. We've been on the air there, you know, giving advertisements, and so just thank you. I appreciate it. We really do, from the bottom of our hearts. We need the support, and we love what we do. So thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm gonna go ahead and upload this, and it should be available to share within the next maybe 15 minutes.
Awesome. Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate it,
bless.
man. God bless you. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Bye-bye. I don't know how to turn it off.